All right. Welcome back. Good afternoon. I see a lot of names that I saw on Thursday or Tuesday. And then hopefully you saw that I posted the reviews that I did on Tuesday on Blackboard or on YouTube, and you can review those. So normally what I like to do, since I already did the first two review sessions and this is the third go at this, I usually just still start off with the heparin protocol, just change the patient's weight, and then just kind of challenge you to see if you can answer the questions still. So let's do an example. And what I'll do is, instead of looking at all this, we're just going to use the simplified version, which is just down here. I'm just going to copy and paste this, and then have you do an alternative question. So give me 1 second. So I'll give you all the details here. Hold on, I'm going to change the patient's weight, so don't answer just yet. All right, so I'm just going to change the patient's weight. Let's say, let's just make this person 192. All right, so you're going to follow, your order is listed, your available is listed, and I'm asking you to do two things. I'm asking you to calculate the bolus, and I'm asking you to calculate the infusion rate given the order and what's available. So take your time, go ahead and answer that, and then once I see some of the answers start coming in, we'll check them and go over this. And also, in the meantime, if you are getting this and you answer the question and you have other questions you want to review, just put it into the chat. Like, I want to look at a flow rate, I want to look at a drop rate, I want to look at a nitroglycerin, whatever you want to look at, just put it into the chat. And then we'll do that right after we answer this. So, all right, take your time. Good luck. All right, looks like we got our first attempt at an answer. I did not check this yet, so let me see if I get the same thing that you got, Maya. All right, I will confirm that for the bolus, I also got 7 mil. So it was 6.98. So when you round that, you're not going to leave it at 6.9 because that number right past it is an 8. Go ahead and round it to the whole number. If it were 6.92, then you would put 6.9. Okay, I'm just kind of giving you that differential. Hopefully you won't get a question that ends like that, but just so you know. And then I also got the 15.7 mil per hour. So you got 15.7090909, and then we would just round that to the nearest tenth. So 15.7 ml per hour. Okay. So remember, with this question, all we're doing is taking the patient's weight, we're converting it to kilograms. Then for the bolus, you multiply by 80. Then you use the bolus dosage strength to convert units to milliliters. So you're dividing by 1,000. And then for the infusion rate, you are taking the same patient weight, same kilograms, multiplying it now by 18 units per kilogram per hour. Then you're going to use the available IV, which is the heparin, 25,000 units and 250 milliliters, half normal saline. And you're going to calculate to get to the 15.7 ml per hour. All right. Good job. So like I said on Tuesday, this is the question that's going to throw a lot of you, because especially, well, once you've looked at it a couple times, you'll get comfortable with it. But if you look at here, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see this, you know, without it being redacted. I'm going to minimize this. So when you're on your test, you're going to see this big question, and it's going to look intimidating. But now that you've seen it a couple of times, hopefully it's less intimidating, because I've hopefully shown you how to navigate all of this. And what's highlighted is really the only thing that you would need to focus on and maintain and keep, and to know what's important, right? You need to know patient's weight in kilograms. And sometimes the question will even give it to you in kilograms. I'll just give it to you right off the bat. Should be great. Then you need to know what your order is. It's stated twice. So it says it here, and it says it in step 10 of the standard weight-based heparin protocol. So it tells you what to do twice. Okay. Then you're going to just solve for the bolus, solve for the heparin drip, and then you might see a question where they ask this. I don't think they're going to ask you this, but if you do, we went over that, where you just look at after 6 hours, you're going to reassess, and you're going to do that. So I think that's what you're asking me, Lauren. Can we look at one of these after so many seconds, what to calculate? Is that what you want? I think that's what Lauren was asking for. Okay. Yeah. So, all right. So we did a standard weight-based calculation. Now what we're going to do is we're going to apply this, and I'm going to shorthand this as well. So let's say, so the way this question will get asked, it'll say after 6 hours, the patient has an APTT of whatever that number is. Okay. And then you're going to look at your APTTs. So the APTT is less than 35 seconds. This is what you do. If it's between 36 and 44 seconds, this is what you do. If it's between 45 and 75 seconds, this is what you do. If it's between 76 and 90 seconds, this is what you do. And then if it's greater than 90 seconds, this is what you do. Okay. So what we're going to do is let's look at this. And then you can do, I usually like to do option 12, because then it gives you basically a different bolus to work off of. Okay. So let me rewrite this question and add this in here as part of, so I'm going to simplify this for, so let's say we're using this same scenario here. Just give me 1 second. I'll put that back on there, because what it'll do is it'll give me, so, all right. So after 6 hours, APTT is one second. And let's just say it's what do we say, 43 seconds? Oh yeah, I don't know why I'm scrolling around. So we'll just say it. Let's say it's 40 seconds. Doesn't really matter. After 6 hours, APT is 40 seconds. If APTT is 36 to 44 seconds, so this is technically your order. Your available is still, so we'll even call this the new order. Okay. Your available is still the same. The patient weight is still the same. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to calculate the new patient weight. Calculate for the rebolus, and then calculate the new infusion rate. Okay. So again, and I'm going to zoom in on this so you can see it. Remember, this answer was 7 milliliters. This answer was 15.7 milliliters. So now what I'm asking you to do is to follow the new protocol where it tells us to rebolus. But instead of 80 units, now we're just going to use 40 units. And then to increase the rate, increase by 2. So go ahead and try that. You're going to use the same 192-pound patient. You're going to use the same available 25,000 units, 250 milliliters, half normal saline. You're going to use the same bolus dosage strength. And let's see what you get.
I'm confused by okay, so when we're doing the rebolus and it say increase by 2 units per kilogram per hour, what are we increasing? The 40 or the
No, what was the original flow rate?
I don't for
15.
bolus, was it 80? I don't know. I'm confused.
So that you're referencing the bolus. So the bolus, all we're doing is rebolusing, but this time with 40 units instead of 80. And then it says to increase the rate. What was the original rate?
I don't know.
15.
I'm confused.
Yeah, so it's 18, right? Do you see
But
it?
that says for the drip.
Yep. And that's what it's telling you to do, to increase the rate by 2. So we started at 18, and now we're going to increase it because we need to give them more heparin. So how much, if it's 18 as we started and we're increasing it by 2, what would be the new rate in units per kilogram per hour?
It'll be 20.
You got it.
But why are we using the I'm so confused. Okay.
Because you can only use the rate to calculate the rate, and you can only use the bolus to calculate the bolus. So there's no rate associated with the bolus. It's just a one-time, they're going to get 40 units per kilogram body weight right then, right there. There's no time. It's just boom, it's in. And then the rate is just how slow that's going to titrate into the IV over hours. So like our original was 15.7 milliliters per hour. I meant to, when I redid that, I forgot to say per hour. So that was our original rate of infusion. And if I'm increasing it from 18 to 20, that's going to change the ml per hour. We're going to actually add more milliliters per hour than what we started with.
So I'm so okay. And then for B, I don't understand why are we using the 1,000 units per milliliter? Like, why is it the 250 units per 250 milliliters? I thought it was the 1,000.
So you're going to use, you're only going to use the bolus dose strength when you're calculating a bolus. So A is always a bolus. right? So we calculate what is the bolus, what is the rebolus, right? So bolus again, because it's your same patient. 6 hours has passed. They're still prematurely clotting. So we want to step it up a little bit so we can get them to be less of a clot risk for whatever we're doing this procedure for. Okay. And so we're not going to rebolus again with 80 because the data suggests that we keep it at 40. And that's just, like I said, that's based off of what's listed. When I scroll up here, what's listed in the protocol. So if it was a different APTT, you would just follow what is listed in here. So if it told you to rebolus with 80, then you would just repeat it. You wouldn't even have to do any math if you had already done it. Or if it's the first time you're looking at it, then you know, okay, I'm going to bolus with 80, and then I'm going to increase the rate. We started at 18, and we're going to increase it to 4. Or let's say we do 6 hours. You're not going to get this scenario, what I'm about to say, so just don't freak out with what I'm about to say. But let's say another 6 hours goes by. You already did this, and now we're seeing that they're actually getting worse as far as their clotting time. It's actually increasing, and so they're clotting prematurely too quickly. So then you were already at 20. Now you're going to increase it to 24. Okay. You just go off of whatever they tell you to do. But like I said, you're not going to have to worry about that because that'd be more like something you would be doing in an actual clinical setting if that were the case. But to get back to the question at hand.
Okay, so when you originally, before you changed the numbers, I got the answer was 2 and I got 2, right? But I didn't even use the 20 units per kilogram per hour, like when it increased, and I still got the right answer. So I'm so confused on where is that tying into the question? Like, where are you adding in the 20 units per kilogram per hour? Because it seems like you can convert it without it. I don't know.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 192 pounds, convert it to kilograms, multiply that number by 20, whereas previously I'd multiplied it by 18, and then convert it to milliliters per hour. So let me just work it through so you can see it. So I think everyone's okay with the rebolus. It's just 40, which is half of what you did before. So even if you didn't do any math, you would just take the 7 divided by 2, and you're going to get the, why isn't this writing? Give me 1 second. Oh, maybe because it's clicked out. Weird. So I'm going to get 3.5. For the new infusion rate. Remember, my original was 18. So if I move up here, this was my original order for the bolus, and this was my original infusion rate, 18 units per kilogram per hour. They told me to increase it by 2 units per kilogram per hour, so that's where the 20 is coming from. So I'm going to take my patient's weight, convert that to kilograms. So I'm just going to write it like this because I don't have that number. I'm going to multiply by the 20 units per kilogram per hour. And then you could set that equal, but I'm just going to continue on with the scenario. And we're going to use our same IV because they're still hooked up to the same IV. All we're doing is changing what's listed on the infusion pump. So we want to increase it, and we just want to know what we're going to increase it to. And then 25,000 units. So when I do this, I'm going to get 192 divided by 2.2 times 20 times 250 divided by 25,000. And I'm going to get 17.45 repeating. So we would just round that to 17.5 milliliters per hour. So if you got that answer, you may have already included it with the 2, but like, let's say you'd only multiply that number by 2, then your answer would be, I just want you to see what that would look like if you only multiplied by 2. You would get an answer of 1.745. You could take that 1.745 and add it to the 15.7, and then you'd get your 17.5. It just seems like a roundabout way to get to that answer, but that is another way that you could get to the same answer. I don't think that's what you did. I think if you got to 17.5, then you did 20, or I don't think you would have done divided by 1,000. So I'm not sure where the discrepancy is, but that's how you would set this problem up. You just need to know what that means to increase the rate by 2, or if it told you to decrease the rate, it's whatever it's currently at, and then change it. Yeah, we can do another one. So, well, here, I'll just leave everything. I'll just leave the same. We'll just change the patient's weight. So let's just say we're going to do the same thing. I'm not going to copy and paste everything because it becomes a, oh, shoot. Can't just easily put it in where I want it to go. All right. Well, here, I'll just tell you the patient's weight because I can't change anything here for as far as this. Actually, here, I'm just going to delete everything, or I'll delete this stuff. That's fine. So let's just do for a patient that weighs let's just say 176 pounds. So go ahead and calculate. Let's do everything. Let's do the bolus. Let's do the drip for initial. And then let's do the after 6 hours drip and rebolus. So we're going to follow the same protocol. Let me do a page break here. I guess I should include the order and available. Tried to shorthand it. All right. So I'm going to delete these things here because we changed the patient's weight, right? We changed the patient's weight to 176 pounds. Okay. So you're going to do, there's 2 more scenarios here. What is listed here, part A and B, for those of you like getting all worked up on some of these questions, this is what you're going to see. It's going to just be your initial bolus and then your initial infusion. This is what you'll see in the event that they give you an APTT, but they have to give you this information too. But like I said, I don't think they're going to ask you that. All right, go ahead, take a few minutes, see what you get for all these options. So we're getting some answers here. So let me just write what I got so that, and you can kind of compare it. So the first one, you should have had, had it. I think it's right. I think it's right that it's 6.5, but let me just double check. So 80 times 80 divided by 1,000, 6.4 actually, not 6.5. So 6.4. Because 176 pounds is an even 80 kilograms, right? So we don't have to worry about any decimals with that. Then 80 times 18 divided by 100, then we get 14.4, which is good. That's what we were getting. Remember, it's ml per hour. This is a flow rate. So half of the rebolus is 40, so it would just be 3.2. If I'm doing this as a, if I'm working this out again, I'm just taking 80 kilograms times 40 divided by 1,000, and that's where you're gonna get the 3.2 milliliters. And then for this flow rate, I actually get 8 milliliters per hour. Go ahead, Lauren.
See, I got 16. So I get 80 kilograms times the 20 units times the 250 milliliters divided by 25,000.
You did that perfect.
So maybe I typed it in wrong. I don't.
That's a possibility because it sounds like a number was missing.
80 kilograms times 20 units times 250 milliliters.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Sorry. You're good. I did that wrong.
Oh, okay.
See, I can be wrong, right? Of course, it doesn't make you feel any better. You're like, I'm trying to get this, and then he's saying I'm wrong. So sorry. That was me. I made a mistake. I'm not even sure how I got 8. But yeah, 16 ml per hour is correct. So you're doing it right. The only thing that was off there was your initial bolus of 6.5. It should have been 6.4.
Dr. Fred, we're getting the questions from the drop factor also, or no?
Are you asking, do you want to see some of the flow rate questions that involve a drop factor?
Yeah, like, maybe last semester we learned like partial drops should not be like, point something, like, it should be in the whole. Are you getting that question from this semester also in the exam?
Yes, you'll be responsible for flow rate questions, including drop rate questions. The drop rate questions are the ones that end in drops per minute. And then you do need to know that you cannot give somebody a partial drop. You have to give them a whole drop. So like if you get like 17.8 drops per minute, then you have to round that to 18 drops per minute.
Okay. If it is like 16.2, we have to write only 16, right?
Correct. Correct. Because you're rounding to the nearest whole drop. And so I think the cutoff point is probably going to be 0.5 or greater for where you would round up. Hopefully you won't have a question that ends in a decimal like that. But if you do, or if you see it on ATI, now you know that you round it to the nearest whole number.
Yeah, ATI always says like, round it to the whole number or 10th, it says. All right, thank you. I need to go work. That's why I have question. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, guys, any other questions from now if you have a different, I don't have if they gave you a packet and it's different than what I'm going over, I don't have that packet. I'm just letting you know. So if you have a type of question you want to see, just let me know and I can go over that. Go ahead, Lauren.
Can we go back to question 22 to 24? I feel like I got it, but can we just change the numbers? Because I feel like I'm like kind of memorizing what I do have.
And like I said, there's nothing wrong with memorizing. What I would highly recommend you do if you find that you're memorizing, it's more important that you just make sure you're doing the steps and that you're getting the same answer. Even if you've memorized and you know what the correct answer is, what's most important is the muscle memory of actually writing it down and then seeing the flow of how you're writing that down. So yeah, but let's go ahead and do a couple flow rate questions here. And I'm going to get rid of the numbering. All right, so for this one, let's just say we have, let's just say we have a 1 liter solution. IV, let's make this 25,000 units, and it's infusing at 1,250 units per hour. And the question is, how many milliliters per hour would you set the infusion pump? So for like these questions, you could change all three variables, come up with different answers, but go ahead and try that. Let me know what you get as a flow rate. Just type it into the chat and then we'll confirm it. I can help get you on track.
So I did two different things and they're both wrong. So I started with the 25,000 units, and then it's to 1 liter, and then I converted the liter to milliliters, and then I multiplied it by 1 hour divided by the 1250 units to get rid of the units, and I'm getting 0.02, and that just doesn't make no sense.
Okay, so good. So you know that it doesn't make sense. So what's the other way that, so yeah, that you're not going to have like a decimal milliliter per hour. So what's the other way you did it?
The other way I did it, I did 1 liter and then I converted it to milliliters. Well, at least that's what I tried to do. And then I had, it was like 1,000 milliliters times the 1250 units divided by 25,000, but I ended up getting like 5,000, and that don't make no sense. So I don't know what else.
And that was the right way to set it up, but that was a calculator error. So let me just show you how at least my strategy. You could do this any way as long as you get the same answer the right way. I mean, you get the same answer. There's no one wrong or one right way, but this is how I look at these questions. This question is asking, how do I go from units per hour to milliliters per hour? Okay, so I want to know, how do I do that? Okay, that's what this question is asking. Same thing this question is asking down here. Same thing, it was asking up here. Same thing it's gonna, ask for the insulin question. And so what I'm going to do is I always, because that's the flow that I'm going with, what I'm going to do is that's how I'm going to set this up. I'm going to take my units per hour. You just did this opposite the way I'm doing it, but it's going to come out the same way.
So do you always start with the units per hour? Like, don't start with the 25,000 units, whatever. Start what's on the end.
You can start with no, because it might be written as you have an infusion running at 1,250 units per hour, and your available is a 1 liter IV with heparin 25,000 units. You need to know the proper arrangement. So it's not always going to be the end. The way that this question is written, that's how it'll work out. But I didn't even look at where the numbers were. I just looked at, what are we doing? We're converting units per hour to milliliters per hour. So I just started with units per hour because that's what I chose to start with.
Okay.
So it's really up to you, but this is the strategy that I usually go from, because I know that I can get from units per hour to milliliters per hour as long as I have a way to convert milliliters or units to milliliters. And I do, because I have an IV solution. And I'll show you the alternative way if this way isn't meshing with you.
No, it already makes more sense. I have the right answer now. I know that's right because it's a whole number.
Right. And then the reason I do it this way is because I know that my answer has hour in the bottom, hours in the bottom. So all I need to do here is convert units to milliliters. And once I know that, then I know where to put everything. That way I'm never guessing where these numbers go, because I start with this. Now, if I was going to do this the alternative way, if I'm looking at my IV solution, as long as I write it like this, then you've set it up correctly. Because remember, this is an IV. This is all in one bag, so you can't separate these two. It's not like you could put this and then these two numbers in the numerator. It doesn't work that way. They're two different numbers. Then then you can get rid of your units because you have units per hour. And that's where you can get and set it up the alternative way. So basically I've shown you the same thing. Just did we write left to right or did we write it right to left? But either way, you should get the same answer we got in 23, which is 50. So try the other insulin one and see if you can be consistent and get an answer that seems to make sense. Doesn't always make sense, but.
Okay, can we scroll down a little bit to see what we
Sure.
need to answer?
There you go. All right, let me just double check my calculator because I got a bigger number than that. Yeah, Lauren, double check your calculator because your number's too small. You have the right numbers that are there, but your number's too small. There you go. Perfect. Yeah. So 62.5. Perfect. And I think the last one is just like, how long will it take? I gave you even an alternative situation here with how long it will take. And I think we discussed that this was a little bit more straightforward than the the first one that I had, where it was like 10 hours or 20 hours or something ridiculous. So that's most likely how you're going to see it. It's going to tell you when it starts, if they even ask it. I think they're just going to ask you how long it'll run for, and you just have to say 4 hours or 6 hours or 2 hours or whatever the case may be. This is from the 240 class, where they were very specific. So you can try this question if you didn't try it already, and you can see how long. It's the same format, 125 milliliters per hour, 500 ml. So that's the same thing as 4 hours. So if you started at 7 or you checked it at 7:30, you're going to check it again at 11:30 because that would be 4 hours difference. So the only thing that would really change for this is how long it takes to infuse and the time you start. So I'll let you play with those numbers.
Why? Like, I guess I just don't get where the 1,000 kind of comes into the. I don't know. I'm just kind of like confused.
So do you see, but so because we know we're going to milliliters per hour, and I know I have 1 liter, you just have to convert liters to milliliters. Do you see it now?
Yeah, so like you would only do that for like, I guess you just have to really pay attention because like the one above it, I don't know. I just didn't like, what does that have? I just don't understand like what that means, but okay.
So sometimes they'll list it as they have a 1 liter bag or 1.5 liter IV, or sometimes they'll tell you specifically 1,500 milliliters. Sometimes they'll write 0.25 liters. You just need to know that because your final answer is in milliliters, that if it's in liters, you have to convert it to milliliters to get to your answer. So like if you had left that number as 1, then you would have had 1,250 divided by 25,000. And then you would have had a correct answer. You would have actually had, so if I did that, if I took 1,250 divided by 25,000, I'd get 0.05, but that would be liters per hour. But in nursing, you don't use liters per hour. You are either going to be using milliliters per hour or drops per minute. And all I can say is that is something that you need to know, that when you're dealing with flow rates, it's milliliters per hour. So it needs to be in mLs, or it's drops per minute. And that's only going to be if you're doing a drop rate type question.
So would it like be okay to do it like 1,250 divide, like do that first and then multiply by 1,000? Because like I feel like that makes sense in my head.
As long as you don't forget to do that, then yes. And then you'll get the right answer. You'll get 50 ml per hour.
Okay.
Yeah, just don't forget to, I mean, I don't know, Kate, if you write down your units or not when you write and you do your math. So if you're writing your units and then you see that you're in liters per hour and it's asking for milliliters per hour, then you know, okay, I got to convert liters to milliliters. And you can do that as the last step. That's fine. I usually recommend that if you see something like this, or let's say you have another question where it tells you like you have 250 micrograms and it's available in milligrams, you might want to do that conversion first. That way you're within the same units, because then it saves some steps. But ultimately, as long as you're getting the right answer, you can do it however you desire.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Well, that's my time for you guys today. Go through, you can even look at old or last semester's 220, 230 review. It's a very similar review. You may even see different questions that were asked and hopefully explained okay. If you have any questions between now and next week when you take your test, feel free to email me. I'll put my email address down. I'll just tell you that if you are expecting a reply and you email me at like Sunday evening or Monday, I may not be able to get back to you. But if you email me by Friday, that I have some time set aside on Saturday where I'll be able to reply to emails. So I'm just giving you a heads up on that. But I think you guys are going to be fine. It's always nerve-wracking the first time you're getting back into this. You're going to crush it. Worst case scenario, you have to remediate, and then we'll figure out where you went wrong and we'll fix it, and then we'll get you back on track. So if I don't hear from you, good luck. Have a great semester. And if you need any help throughout the semester, like when you get into pediatrics, just let me know. But I have a whole section on YouTube about pediatrics, and that should help you out with that. So, all right, guys, good luck on your test.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
You're welcome.